Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of games that are gonna play on your nostalgia because you're a big giant sucker that falls for it every time. Today's bastard star is Yookah-Laylee. I'm not bitter, you're bitter. So, editor's note, or director's note, or untalented YouTuber's note, whatever you want to call it, Yookah-Laylee came up with a patch after I played and reviewed this game that apparently fixed a lot of the issues that I talked about, or at least some of the more mechanical and technical issues. However, I'm going to go ahead and review it anyways because A, I already wrote the damn thing, and B, I talk about a lot of fundamental gameplay problems I had with the development of the game itself that I do not think could be patched away. So, while I totally hope that the team was successful and they patched some of these problems and the game is better, I'm gonna go ahead and give you my thoughts on the game as of release anyways. So, without further ado, here's the review. I hate myself for doing that. So let's not beat around the bush here. Yookah-Laylee is not good. It's not 100% bad, but it was 0% fun. I hated playing this game. I hated playing this game for a multitude of reasons, but before we get too far into that, let's talk about why I was excited for the game. And yes, I was one of those sucker Kickstarter backers too. Reason number one, as I said in the intro, I'm a sucker for nostalgia. I can admit it. I've been taken advantage of by the indie game industry countless of times. No more. It's probably gonna happen more. You see, I let myself believe in Shovel Knight, and Shovel Knight was great. So then I let myself believe in Mighty No. 9, and Mighty No. 9 kinda killed my childhood a little bit. Now, the X-Rare team, the same people that made Donkey Kong 64, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Banjo-Kazooie, the same people that essentially invented the 3D collectathon genre, have come up with Yookah-Laylee. After raising over $2 million on Kickstarter, I guess no one at Playtonic thought that they really had to make the game good anymore because they were already freaking rich. But maybe I'm just being cynical. It's just that this game is so fundamentally unfun that I feel like no one on the development team really cared about making anything good. But before we get too deep into what's bad about the game, let's go over what's good about the game first. Don't worry, this won't take very long. The game is colorful and graphically very well polished. Say what you will about everything else about Yookah-Laylee, and I will, it looks pretty good. It looks good when you can see it through this broken ass, nauseating, cracked out camera that... Good stuff first. Focus. The game looks pretty and cartoony, and I liked that. The animations in this game are also very well polished. Your character's idle animations in particular, both of them, are really good and add some much needed depth to the characters that they completely lack from their cringy forced dialogue. Good stuff. Focus on the good stuff. Also, the controls were okay. They weren't exceptional, but I needed a third good thing to round out the list, so there it is. Now on to the other 99% of the game. Let's start with that crackcore camera I was talking about. The camera in this game was so broken and jumpy that I almost wasn't able to play enough of the game to write this review because it made me motion sick. Just look at this beautiful example of a level right here. This is the level 1 boss fight with Rampo. Every time you screw up your slide down this ramp, which is the entire boss fight, you hit the bottom and the camera suddenly jerks around 180, then it jerks around 180 again. Not to mention the camera is constantly fighting you. You walk into a room, you're facing the wrong way. You're running and try to manually steer the camera, too bad, it's gonna be fighting you the entire time. I had to jack the sensitivity to the camera way up just to make it the slightest bit functional. It just got this permanent auto camera on that never wants the way you want it to look. There is a button to center the camera behind you, but once again, it just drifts off immediately like an ADHD toddler who's had too much sugar. Then there are these portions of the game that involve a forced perspective, sometimes an isometric, other times a straight-on angle, both times more inventive than functional. Although at least these parts were playable, unlike other sections of the game where I couldn't even see where to go or where to jump next because the camera was off chillin' while I was trying to play the game. I have seen Walmart employees more attentive than this camera. And speaking of the actual platforming, it's not that great. The controls are fine, it's just that nearly every mechanic seems to be designed to limit your overall fun. Starting with the power bar, which felt like a huge step backwards in gameplay. It puts a limit on how much platforming I can do at one time. If I want to roll everywhere I go, then let me. Also, don't add fall damage to a platformer. It's 2017. Seriously, why not let me move around in a way that is most fun to me? See, a good platformer would be good, solid gameplay mechanics set in a world that's fun and rewarding to explore. Game mechanics that are fun to play with, challenging, but fun to master, in a world that rewards you for exploring and conquering its every corner. This is a concept that Unboxed had mastered. See, in Unboxed you have 7 jumps, and you can get just about anywhere. And no matter where you go, there's something to find, something to collect, something to do. The people who made Unboxed wanted you to explore every last nook and cranny of their worlds, and I was happy to, because I was having a blast flying across the map and seeing just what cool things I could pull off with my box, and 7 jumps, and rockets, and balloons. There was so much cool stuff in that game. Go play Unboxed. Unboxed is fantastic. In Yookah-Laylee, you simply miss a jump and you end up in an undeveloped, forgotten section of map. If you get even slightly off of the developed path, you might as well have fallen off of the entire world. And I mean that literally, because multiple times I missed jumps and landed in undeveloped parts of the map where my only option was to jump off of the world and kill myself to get back to the main part of the game. There's no true reward for exploring in this game. All the collectibles don't even really need to be found. You just stumble upon them as you follow a linear path. Literally, most of the time there's actual paths and trails in the game that lead you to everything. The collectibles are just lazily thrown across the map and locked by simple puzzles, most of which also feel random and completely unrelated to the world. There's just a total lack of theming in this game. And in a cartoony world such as this, I feel like theming is an important element of world building. You've got the normal generic worlds I talk about in every review: jungle, ice mountain, swamp, Super Mario Galaxy, and Poker Stars Online. Alright, the casino world is a little original. It's just too bad that it was one of the worst worlds in the game. You encounter mostly the same characters in every world despite what the world was, and they always offer you some variation of the same challenge. The challenges themselves are, you guessed it, not that fun. The game pretty much immediately starts recycling the same challenges over and over again, making them feel repetitive and boring. Again, the pages you're meant to collect aren't exactly hidden or anything, and the puzzles you solve to get to them are usually astoundingly easy. I don't know if they were all designed for children and I'm just some cynical adult, but they were not good. Plus, even if they were for children, I just have to say, it wasn't kids that gave you $2 million on Kickstarter, was it? Know your target audience. We wanted something whimsical and fun for the whole family, but that doesn't mean we needed it to be so easy that the family dog could beat it. I could honestly go on and on about all the reasons I didn't like this game, from the fact that this loading screen looks like a 1990s webpage, to this dialogue that goes at a snail's pace while making this noise the entire time. Or look how broken this part is, where I'm stuck between 2 rocks and falling forever. Or how annoying this transformation was. But I'll sum it up for you. Yookah-Laylee is not a bad game for any of these small details. Yookah-Laylee is a bad game because no one bothered to make it fun. It shows a surprising ineptitude at even the most basic of gameplay mechanics. If you like Rare in their heyday, go play one of those games. JonTron was quite frankly lucky to be left out of this. But hey, that's just my opinion. If you have your own thoughts on Yookah-Laylee, and why you hated it, let me know down below. As well as if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Join me on my next review, which will be Seasons After Fall, which I know I promised last time, but time gets away from us all. It'll be the next one. I promise.